Now Wales begin life under new head coach Craig Bellamy this week, and in his first role as head coach he's already having to manage the challenges of injuries and withdrawals from his squad. Well, let's get more. We can cross to senior reporter Geraint Hughes, who was at their training session this morning. And Geraint, before we get to this squad, did we get any clues in terms of what sort of head coach Bellamy is going to be from this training session?
It was fascinating watching him. I've been down on the training ground for just almost a half an hour, about an hour or so ago, and I spent most of it just watching Craig Bellamy. And the first thing that struck me was just how close he was to the players when they first came out and they did their warm-ups. They went into some drills. And you often get managers, yeah, they're on the training pitch, but they'll have done the work with the coaches, and they'll just sit back and they'll watch from a distance. But Bellamy, as was expected, but it's fascinating nonetheless to see, was right in there. Even on the little drills to warm up, he was 10 yards away, no more than that. And then they split out into a couple of groups to do some drills, little one-touch, two-touch drills. And Bellamy, again, very, very closely. And then, interestingly, considering he was a forward player, and both groups was going to the defenders. And just little things, having a sort of a touch on the side of their arm and just saying, how about positioning yourself there? Because you could see they were turning their bodies like this to be more maybe square on or side on. Just, little 10, 15-second chats with players when the drills had just stopped. So he's very, very hands-on. He leads the actual sort of taking of the sessions to his coaching staff. They take it, but he's just very much on the side with just little tidbits in, not too long, but he's just sort of having a quick word of the player, touching on the shoulder, getting involved that way, and he's really intense, crossed-armed, looking in. It's exactly how Craig Bellamy said he would be on the training pitch. He told me last week that he'd found a way for this job, because he was not concerned at all. That's the wrong thing, but he was worried, I suppose, about how he would adapt from life being in club management, obviously with Burnley and at Anderlecht before that, and then coming to the international environment. It's a very, very different type of coach / manager. And he'd worked it out about a month or so in with the help of people, the senior executives here at the FAW. He got the balance right, and he was really happy, really relaxed. But the most important thing he was looking forward to, he wanted the players to come in here to their training ground just outside Cardiff on Sunday evening, and he wanted to get onto the training pitch. He did that yesterday for the first time. We've seen him in action today with the players, and it's different. There are huge differences, different times, different ways of doing things, even the warm-ups on the drills. It's just so different from not just Rob Page, but when it was Ryan Giggs, and prior to that, Chris Coleman as well. They're not even subtle differences. They're quite big differences in how he wants things done. And I've obviously explained to you about how he's very much sort of hands-on. It doesn't quite give you the correct way, because he does leave it to his coaching team, but he's there and he is getting involved very much during the training sessions. As I say, just having a quick word with the player here and there as well. Absolutely fascinating to watch him. His face as well is absolutely focused, driven. I've said sort of hello to a number of the coaches who I know, just a quick hand and wave to you. Bellamy, not interested with anybody other than the players and his sort of coaching staff. Absolutely focused. And I know this afternoon, if I bump into him, he'll be all smiles, he'll shake my hand, and he'll say, I didn't even see you there. He's completely, absolutely in the zone, focused. It was fascinating to watch, and probably to anybody who knows Craig Bellamy, absolutely no surprise that's the way he was today.
And what about the squad then, Geraint? How is it shaping up ahead of these Nations League games?
Yeah, Joe, you mentioned there that, the life of an international manager is you kind of hide behind the sofa on a Saturday and a Sunday when you're waiting to see if players who are playing in club matches pick up injuries or have to be withdrawn, and it's happened. That is what happens with international management. He lost Dan James last week. Confirmation that Rabbi Matondo, the Rangers forward, the Rangers winger, I beg your pardon, is out today. That's no real surprise, because he limped off during the Old Firm derby towards the back end of the first half. It was a hamstring injury. They've obviously had a look at it, the Welsh medical staff with their colleagues up in Scotland as well. He could play no part in this international camp, so he's out as well. Two replacements have come in, Ruben Colwell for Dan James and Charlie Crew, but they're younger players, and it also just, I suppose, leaves Wales a little bit lighter. They'd like to be on that left-hand side, losing both the wingers with the speed of Dan James and Rabbi Matondo, but as that is the want of being an international manager. This happens. He's got to deal with it, but he's got a 24-man squad now, and I think Craig Bellamy will pretty much, I'd imagine, already have in his mind certainly his starting 11 for Friday against Turkey. He's just, I think, enjoying the process now of getting the players on the pitch and working through his processes ahead of Friday. So he's had that to deal with, but other than that, they all seem a very sort of happy bunch out there. Good to be back in the Welsh setup again. It's always been sort of a very much of a family atmosphere. That hasn't changed in any way at all. And just to reiterate as well what Craig Bellamy is the message he's trying to get out there, the short-term message is the identity of Wales. The way they play, with the passion that he wants to play with, and that identity and a connection with the Welsh public, which has been so successful over the last decade or so. They want that to continue, and they want that Craig Bellamy way of playing, which will be intense. It will be a high press. They want that to come out really in these games going forward. I think the Nations League, Joe, yes, they want results, but it's got to be more about performance and that identity to get it right for when it matters. And what matters most? Qualification for the World Cup, because that's non-negotiable. Wales want to, not just Craig Bellamy, but the senior executives of the Welsh FA, they have to qualify for the World Cup in 2026.